Day 26 of these recordings. Look at this. We have animations this time. Whoa. Look at it. Um, I guess I'll talk about this first. So you see, today was meant to be a productive day. Meant to be a productive day. I pretty much all I had today was my physics tutorial. So I spent the rest of my time in the library and I was just like I don't know. I was kind of out of it today. I drank like a large cup of coffee on an empty stomach and like kind of felt like I was like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like, point is, I didn't get any work done, okay? The coffee didn't make me more productive. It just made me like really, really attentive and like disassociate with the world around me. I was just a brain inside of a body that was moving around. Um, so I kind of wasted a lot of time. As you can see, I created this thing here, which I spent far too long on. Originally, it was just gonna be like a quick thing, and then I kept wanting to add things to this, and oh, here we are now. Um, I also did the daily integral. I also did the daily integral. Pretty much anything but study. We'll make up for it tomorrow. I just got a bit carried away today. Oh yeah, and look, look how cool this is. I'll show you guys how this works. So, everything's kind of a mess right now. I was messing around with parametric equations. The first part here is just general parametric parametric equation stuff. We have one parameter t. F of x is for the x direction. G of x is for the y direction. And then like as t increases, uh, x and y will change accordingly, and then you just plot the points where they end up. You draw lines between them, and then you end up with some pretty cool shapes. And so you look at this, and then of course you have Fourier transforms, which although I haven't learned yet, like you see like those things where you have like moons orbiting a planet, and theoretically you can have it so that the orbits the moon trace draw shapes. Like you can draw a shape of a dog or like Abraham Lincoln or anything really, as long as you have enough moons. So I was trying to figure out how to do that. I wasn't trying to figure out how to do that with equations. I like I tried to see if there was a shortcut to do it without like going deep into the maths. There was no shortcut. So instead of doing that, I created my own equation to get this shape. Basically, just by brute forcing it. So you begin with, actually, I'll stop this quickly. You begin with a star shape, right? Let me turn these off. Um, it's a star. Some of you might know where this star comes from. Some of you might not. I'll give you a hint. The purple comes into it a lot, but that's irrelevant here. Star. Uh, the way I did this was actually quite nice, almost purely accidental. But like we can change the shape of the star here. This B basically defines the coordinates for each of the points. And say we can set this one to be 30, and we can set, wait, hold on. Does a negative A work? Wait. I change this back. Wait, can it draw this? Hold on. Hold on a second. Oh, be able to draw that shape. Uh, kind of. It, it kind of drew the shape a few too many lines, but anyway, as you can see, it's let's set a to be a positive value. So like say even if we do it like this, it can still just draw the shape. As you can see, it's tracing it out. Purely accidental. That was just the way I did things, so that was quite nice. But I set a to be 0.7 because that's what looked the nicest. And so once you have this, you you have the points, right? But you don't actually have anything for the lines in between. So you need to create the equations for the lines here. And this is just like not great math. I'll show you the equations. It looks complicated. It's literally just like ninth grade maths, but like a lot of it. So this is the equation for the slope. These are the equations for each of the each of the points, the x and the y values. And then this is the calculations for each of the lines. It honestly wasn't that bad. And so if you want to take a look at what it looks like, it was A, right? Yeah, A. As you can see, the lines perfectly trace over the star. I created one where you plug in X. I also created one where you plug in Y because you need both. Well, you don't need both, but I thought you needed both. As you can see, perfectly traces out. And then once you have this, just you just like do more math, and then eventually you end up with these functions that look very funky. Um, the red function is basically the y value. As it traces out the circle, right? Or like there's a straight line that travels in a circle. This is what y value you want this point to be at. And then this blue line is the x value. And you can sort of see like the star, right? You have this very high point for the high y value, and then it's mirrored because the star is symmetrical. You have one, two, three, four, five, 6 points. There's 6 points for the star. And so once you have these two equations for the x and y, you can plug them back into all of the parametric equation stuff to get to get this. And then finally, after like a lot of debugging and fixing edge cases, you get this, which is pretty nice. And then also like um just to showcase for this reflection, I added some more animations. That way it wouldn't just draw it once and stop. It like draws then deletes it, draws then deletes it. Yeah. Honestly, this kind of happens a lot. Normally after if I study for the whole day, after I have dinner, of course you get like really tired and sleepy after dinner, and you can't really focus for study. And a lot of the time during that period, I'll just create random Desmos things like this. Uh, just because like one, it looks like I'm still doing work. Not that like anyone around me cares, but it's better than scrolling reels. And also, like, I'm not gonna get any study done right after I finish a big meal. So I just like mess around with these things. I don't end up learning any maths from them though. Like today, I could have tried to learn Fourier transformations, but like I just didn't. And honestly, it was kind of a lot cooler because a perfect, it's a perfect star, mathematically perfect. Whereas a Fourier transformation would always have slight inaccuracies. I'll just leave this plain, I guess. I hope it's still like centered on the screen. I hope like this whole recording, like OBS doesn't mess things up. Whenever I do something like this, there's always issues with the centering, but it looks all good. Yeah. So as for how my day went, three things I suppose. One thing that went good today. Uh honestly, I really need to get some study done today. I'll um I'll definitely just make it up tomorrow, but like would it be nicer to do some things today? Or at least like figure out how much work I do need to do over the weekend. Just so that like on Saturday and Sunday, it's not like suddenly I need to do so much work. But like one thing that went good today was I guess I've been continuing the trend of just eating generally healthier. I did have KFC for lunch, but other than that, I like actually got like servings of every type of food, like carbohydrates, vegetables, fruit. So that was good. One thing that could have gone better, I should have not wasted so much time on this. Uh, it is cool though. Maybe like because the images I normally have for my reflection whatever are ridiculously boring. So maybe I should just like always have the like create these little Desmos animations just so that it's slightly more engaging. Um, Also, it is 2 a.m. currently. Now, I can explain why I'm recording this at 2 a.m. Number one, I was like trying to set up OBS and like also making this little animation. That took like half an hour. I feel like OBS is um OBS is an amazing software, but I just like always mess it up somehow, just with the aspect ratios. One thing I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow we lock in. Tomorrow we wake up at like 1 p.m. Then we lock in for the rest of the day. Okay. Next week I have two mid-semester tests. I also need to write up a logbook. Honestly, like the workload is fine, but people are like really concerned for the maths test just because the practice test was really difficult. And so of course I'm kind of concerned as well. Unlike the physics mid-semester test, this math one definitely can't just breeze through with my high school knowledge. So over the weekend, I will need to go through a ton of practice problems. But I believe I can do well, hopefully. Yeah. The good news is that it is very unlikely I fail any of my classes. Uh, Not that like I was planning on barely passing. I am planning for like HDs in each of them, but like Currently, if I aim for like 100% or near 100% in every assessment, unlike the IB where like the final tests were 80, 70 to 80% of your final mark, which is insane. Like, okay, for those who didn't do the IB, it's a 2 year curriculum from years 11 to 12. And for some reason, throughout these 2 years, 80% of your grade is in like 2 or 3 exams in your final few days. The rest of the 2 years, apart from your IAs, like none of it matters. So like it's kind of nice how in university, you can actually put in effort throughout the semester, and then like the final exam in some cases is only 40% of your grade. And so even if you get a zero in that, as long as you got at least um 50 out of 60% in your other assessments, which is pretty reasonable, you can pass without like getting a zero on the final test, you can still pass. Anything else? Anything else? Um, as for why we're recording this at 2 a.m., you see, so I decided to cut my losses early. I realized I was not being productive at all after I made this. So I came home, cooked dinner, and then I decided because the final season of Doctor Stone came out like a while ago, and I've been meaning to watch it. So I watched it. I watched the first episode while eating dinner. Then I watched the second episode, and then the third, and you guys can see what happened. And now it's 2 a.m. Yay! Yeah. Oh, that's all for today. Anyway, let me continue talking about this animation I made. I definitely think the coolest part about it is these two graphs. They're just like so funky. It was a pain to set them up though. Like do you see this? Such a pain to set it up. No, it's pretty funky. Like there's whoa, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my God. If you guys want to see the final star without it like constantly being erased, we can do that as well. There we go. Here's the star. I have no clue if it's centered for you guys. Alright, there we go. Wow, such an amazing star. Is there anything else to say about today? Hmm. I guess there's like nothing else. Oh, I will buy that piano soon. I'd like been putting off it a little bit. Yeah. Of today's recording.